about to use the Rastafri brand of braiding hair in the 26/13. I'm also using Live and So Real gel. I'm about to start the very first braid in Soleil's hair. And we are using the Rastafri brand Afrelle. Now, I like this brand of braiding hair because it's soft and it has a lot of texture to it, you know. And I love braiding with this hair. It doesn't tangle as much either when you're making your braids. You know, when you're placing the braids in the hair, it doesn't tangle as much. But yeah, I'm starting the first braid and I'm using the piece by piece technique on Soleil's hair because we're trying to achieve a style for the style to look as if it's human hair. So this size of braid, you know, most people would call this micro. I call it extra small because micro is thinner than that. Micro is damn near as thin as hair, you know, and that's how we used to consider micro. But I know this new school of braiding, this would, you know, the regular pencil size individuals is considered small to them. But yeah, I'm about to start placement of the second braid into Soleil's hair. And I'm taking scoop circle pieces of hair and I'm braiding it. Now she don't have the thickest hair, and but this braid pattern is perfect for people that, you know, hair is not extremely thick. Yeah, because it makes the braids come out so full, you know. If somebody's hair was thick and they wanted this, I'll be like, you're going to pay me a fortune to put this in. But her hair is pretty easy to do. I'm taking the third braid and I scooped it in between the two braids. You know, I don't pre-section the hair. I just pick it up and put it in because, you know, I've been used to doing it this way for years. So, you know, sometimes it's kind of hard for me to change up doing things a different way, you know, since I've been braiding this same way for like over 35 years. But yeah, putting the third braid in and I'm braiding it down. And as I said in the last video, I use the So Real gel at the ends to encase the client's hair into the braid. And when my fingers feel that I'm not, you know, her hair is encased into the braid, then I slip tie it off. I go down about an inch or two under the client's natural hair. So if they choose to cut the braid, they won't be cutting their own hair. So I give them the go ahead. Like you can cut into the braid, you know, at the very end of the braid, you know, to take them out faster. Okay, we just started our fourth scoop party. And I'm braiding along. And like I said, I love this hair. This hair, it doesn't tangle. You know, you braid it in, it's not catching, you know, as you braid it down. I love that part, you know, about this hair. You know, there's two brands. The one I'm using is the yellow and green pack, as I call it. And they have a purple and yellow pack. The purple and yellow pack I tend to use for, you know, the Goddess Braid individuals. I use that for that. And the yellow and green pack, I normally use it for the twisting because it twists really tight. And I also use it for, styles like this because it doesn't catch, and you can braid it down. Like the other hair is more coarse and more wiry, and this texture of hair is much softer, but it still have a kink texture to it, and I love that part about it. It dip easy, you're not, the dipping part of it is very, very easy. It just, as soon as you put that water on it, it glides straight through the hair. I just pull the hair with the towel and it just glides right through. And that's the part. It's not a struggle to dip it straight. I love that part about it. Now I'm slit tying her ends of her hair because we're gonna do this as a human hair look. Human hair is very expensive, especially the bulk human hair. Where I reside at in California, bulk human hair, if you're getting a good bulk human hair, it starts at $200 per pack. And, a lot of times my clients, back in the day, we used to, go to his and her and get the bulk human hair for braiding. And it used to only cost like $45 per quarter bundle. Now is $179 and up. And sometimes you looking damn near to pay like $350 for a pack of human hair. So, I tell my clients, I was like, we can achieve a human hair look without you spending money on human hair with the Kaale hair. And so, one day I was telling Sule that, instead of me doing these individuals braiding all the way down, and if you like the, the curly look, we can, use the Rastafri hair, especially this brand of hair, because it is very, very soft and it doesn't tangle, that we can give you the human hair look. Like when I put these braids in her hair, they last for about 3 months plus, and she's been wearing her hair braided by me for I'd say probably the past 6 months to almost a year now. And she loves them. She said everybody comes up to her and think that it's actual human hair. And they stop and they ask her, who did your hair? And, because she lives in Las Vegas and I live, like 3 hours away from her in the high deserts. So she come to me, or either I go to, when I want to go to Las Vegas, I go see her, and get a hotel room and do her hair at the hotel where I'm staying at. And I enjoy that, to get out the house, because I'm so busy, all the time with hair and my daughter. Till sometimes we get, especially during this situation with the pandemic, we tend to stay in the house more, because my daughter, she's homeschooled. But yeah, I'm starting the next party, by her ear, and we're twiddling away. They're twiddling away. And then, like I said, I'm braiding all the way down because I can see her hair. So I'm braiding all the way down her hair and maybe an inch under her hair. I'm slit tying the braids out. Yeah, she's such a joy. She's from Libya. And every time she comes, I get a history lesson on Africa and African politics and how she grew up and her family. And you'd be surprised, a lot of times, black families from wherever you are, we all act the same. Drawn with the drama. But here I'm showing you guys, off camera, I braided up, a little bit more. I'm going up to the crown, so we're braiding along. And you see the braids are more gathered closer together. I don't believe in, and what I'm gonna do on my channel is show you guys, okay, to the parting that you do when you're braiding someone's hair is the weight of that braid. Now the scoop circles that I'm doing in her hair, I would not put a large braid on that tiny piece of hair. And I see some people, they do that, but that's a no. Those braids, the weight of the braid should be to the parting of the hair. Like if you're doing, like in my last video, I did large individual, the large goddess individuals on my daughter's hair. And for the length of that and the weight of that braid, those big partings were perfect, So that's why smaller partings, smaller pieces of hair. Ever braid your big old pieces of, put big pieces of braids, big piece of hair to braid in someone's hair if the parting is not, large enough to hold the weight of that braid, so her hair can handle that braid, Because people like to pull their hair up in ponytails. They like to do a lot with their hair, so you got to be mindful, that these are follicles, hair follicles that you braid, and the weight of the extension has to be supported by the parting of your client's hair. And once again, I like the contrast and the color of her hair, and the 27-613 is a beautiful contrast. And I know they do sell that hair also mixed together. It'd be the 27, the 30, and the 613 mixed. And that's a beautiful color. It's a beautiful color. Yeah, we're braiding along. And if you follow this pattern, it's a really easy pattern. How I knew how to do this pattern because I worked at Braids by Sabrina in LA years ago when I was in my mid-20s. And that's the only way that she wanted her client's hair to be braided, was piece by piece technique. Now, when I first started doing that technique back in the day, it used to take me forever to do somebody's hair, using that technique. But once I got it down packed and everything, I can whiz through it really fast, regardless of the size of the braid, Well, I will say this. I can whiz through it fast, but if the braids are to the butt, no, it's definitely going to take you longer to do somebody hair that, braids until they behind in this pattern. This is much fuller than the box braids, as like how the box braids lay. I love the way the box braids lay. This lays really nice and flat also, but you have to be careful because you got to scoop in between the braids, because if you don't scoop in between the braids and you scoop and you lay the hair on top of one of the braids, it's not going to lay right. You want to be able for the hair to lay flat in between each braid. And like I said, I've been braiding hair for well over 35 plus years. And like I said, I ain't trying to get my age, but y'all know I'm old. And I done did thousands of heads, you know, throughout the period that I've braided hair. And once again, you know, God spoke to me years ago when I was 21 and told me to use what I've already given you, and I've been braiding hair ever since. It has not stopped. I've been trying to stop it, but it will not stop. Because, you know, in the next 4 years, I'm going into retirement. So, and like I said in the last video, young ladies, your hands are your instruments. So to avoid, you know, getting carpal tunnel, make sure you're checking your finger pressure, because it doesn't take all of that to put a tight stitch braid into someone's hair. It doesn't take all that much pressure to do, especially if you know how to apply the extension and hold the hair firmly. Because you can even see it as I braid down her hair. I'm lightly braiding her hair. I'm not braiding too tight. It's a light stitch, you know. Only time I really go really tight on my finger pressure is when I'm doing wrap braids, because you have to braid those pretty tight to for them to bend. You know, once you burn the ends, and for them to bend, your stitch have to be tight for them to stay bent under, you know. But for the most part, you guys, this is the piece by piece technique that I'm braiding Soleil's hair in. And as you can see, you know, it is coming together, coming along. And it's a beautiful, you know, technique, you know, to pick up pieces of the hair and you braid it in. But once again, I say, remember the scoop partings in between the braids. Make sure the braid is lying in between the braids. Because if the hair is not lying in between the braids, they're not going to lay right. They're going to lay right on top of each other. And you're going to get a more bulky look to the braid style than a flat look to the braid style. And then it's not going to really look uniformed. You want it to look very uniform and very neat. Because that's one thing I pride myself on, you know. When people notice my braids, you know, they say, oh, her braiding is so neat. Yeah, you can achieve very, very neat braids when you know how to properly part the hair and properly know how to apply that extension. I'm almost up to her mid crown. Now I'm showing you one side, you know, but the other side is pretty much done up to her ear. So I just wanted to show you the side that I am doing on camera, because I can't position my camera all over the place. And, you know, I'll try to get at least 2 tripods where I can position the cameras to where you can see both sides. And when I edit, I interchange both sides of the person's hair. But for right now, you know, this is self-explanatory and you can see exactly what I'm doing. It's the same pattern all over her head. And she has a nice round head too, you know. She has the perfect head, you know, for braiding, you know. Yeah, so we twiddling along, and like at the ends, I'm still, you know, tying it off, because you know the very back of her hair is very, very short. So when you get in, as I go up, you know, her hair is getting a little bit longer. So I'm just doing the same thing, and I'm tying it off. She's such a joy. We just be sitting up there eating and laughing Everything I told her, I was like, I want to film your hair. Can I film your hair? She was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I need you to act natural. Just act natural. Don't get tensed or nervous or anything while that camera's on. I was like, watch your facial expressions and everything. Because my daughter in the last video, all those facial expressions were so funny. I was just laughing when I was watching the video. Because those facial expressions were so funny. Yeah, but she's a trooper though. She sat there and let me, tape her and everything. My baby girl did, I was only, on her hair for like 2.5 hours and we were done. But Soleil's hair, that's a totally different story. I think it took me about 7.5 hours to complete this full style on her hair. And, that's because I'm pretty fast when I braid, I'm pretty fast because I've been braiding for, years. And, braiding is my career, and this is all I've been doing for years is braiding hair. So I'm like a robot. I get that hair into that hair. Sometimes, I go into like a zombie, like a trance, like when I braid hair. Yeah, sometimes the client be talking and I'll be like, and I'm in my trance and I'm just speeding along, in their hair. Not that I'm not listening to them, because I do listen. But, I get in that little trance and there I go. There I go, braiding hair. But you see, we're by her ear now. Like when I get around a client's edges, I don't put those braids close together around their edge line. Especially if they like to pull their hair up into ponytails and everything. You have to be mindful that, that is the edges. That's the thinnest part of the hair. And that you don't want to do damage, because if they pull the braids up, their hair will thin if it's too much, pressure on the hair, so you don't want them to end up with alopecia around their edge line, start all the way back to their ear, you don't want that to happen, so be mindful of that, because some braiders, they take little pieces and them braids around the edge line be so close together, and that is not healthy for the edges at all. That is not healthy for the edges at all. So, throughout the years, I always, around that edge line, I take larger, scoops of hair around the edge line, and I don't put them super close together, but close enough for everything to look uniform when they pull their hair up, everything look uniform. But for the most part, I never do that. And I also, because I tell them wait at least 2 weeks to sometime 3 weeks before you pull your hair up in high ponytails. And make sure that when you pull your hair in a ponytail, you kind of leave a little slack for your edges, kind of pull it forward just a little bit to leave slack for your edges, so your edge line will not thin, because you are braiding hair follicles. And sometimes them hair follicles are not strong, especially in older women. You're getting older. Your hair follicles are getting old too. So there's certain styles that I feel that you age and you're going through menopause, that you should keep it simple with your braid styles. Not like the younger women, they can wear all that stuff, but you're going through transition, needing menopause and everything, so you don't want to make those braids too tight, and everything in the hair. And you want to keep the hair healthy as you possibly can, because everything dries up, dry out, and everything as you age. You know. But enough about talking about that. We almost up and going into the crown now. The mid crown is the hardest thing to get through. You know, when I go to the upper part of the hair, you know, I'll be like, oh, I gotta tackle this mid crown. Now the mid crown is from the side of her forehead going all the way over to the other side of her forehead. That's the mid crown. That's the largest part of your head. So yeah, sometimes it could take you, especially like with this particular style, it could take you probably like a good 3.5 hours to get through that mid crown. But once you get through that mid crown and you get to the top portion of the crown of the head, it's easy selling from there. But that mid crown, to enclose that mid crown, oh my goodness, it takes forever. Especially piece by piece. Box braids, nah, it really don't take you that long with box braids. But piece by piece, oh yeah. That's why in the beginning, when I first started to do piece by piece individuals, I hated them because it just took you so long to get up to that upper crown part, you know. But since, you know, I've been braiding hair for years and practice, you know, I can get through it, you know, without being on somebody's hair for damn near 10, 20 hours. You know, some of my clients go, oh, I tried this other young lady and she took 20 hours to do my hair. I had to come back the next day. I'm like, nah, you ain't coming back the next day with me. You know that. And they like, yeah, I know that. That's why I ain't going nowhere else. And I just laugh, you know, because people be trying to be cheap sometime and go to these other braiders, and you know they cheap, but they're not as experienced. So that's why they come back. And they don't mind paying the price because they know that, you know, when I'm in their head, I'm on their head till I'm off their head. And I might take 2 bathroom breaks, or I have to answer the phone, you know, when other clients call me, because my phone sometimes is non-stop ringing, you know, when I'm doing hair. But sometimes I'll just, you know, let the phone ring. If they want to leave a message, they leave a message. If they don't, they don't, you know. But I tend to give my time to my client. And then too, you know, you don't make no money on one head all day, you know. You know, you really don't as a braider. Because, you know, when I used to own a salon, I used to watch the girls as they, you know, do regular hair. And I'm like, should they do that regular hair in 2 hours and we still on this head for 6 hours? And, you know, so, yeah. So braiding is very, very time consuming. So me, I don't make no money just doing one head a day. You know, I do multiple heads a day, you know. But something like what I'm doing with her hair, you know, I probably would do her hair and then maybe take some cornrows afterwards, or a weave or something like that. You know, I don't try to overexert myself, especially, you know, I'm older. But when I was young, shoot, 3 heads, please. I do 3 heads. I'll start at 6 a.m. and be done at 12. But you know, that was before I had my daughter and everything. I had time, you know, so why not? You know. So yeah, we inching into that mid crown, you know. We still in the mid crown. You know, where the braids are on the side, that's upper mid crown. And like I said, you see how long her hair is at the top and the sides versus how it was in the back. Braids were in the back, but her nape hair was very short. So I'm starting around her edge. Now you see how I did that parting at her ear? It's not no tiny piece of hair at all, but it's all gonna marry itself together. You know, I'll never ever run an edge line. Make super tiny partings around the edge line. I make sure I scoop the partings just a little bit bigger than everywhere else on the head. It's because you do not want your client hair that edge line too thin, because it will. It will. If you don't, you know, be mindful of that. Especially, you know, like a lot of my clients, they just love their braids, you know. They can't survive without them braids. And you gotta be mindful that they constantly wearing their hair braided. So you gotta be mindful that, you know, to protect their edge line. Gotta be mindful how you place the braids into the hair. Yeah, we inching along. Now the other side is completely up to the upper part of her hair, so I make sure I did that side first. So I'm now showing you guys on camera how I'm, you know, doing the side of her hair so you can see the pattern. Because once you got that pattern in there, right, there's no way you can go wrong, you know. But it does take practice, especially with the time. It takes practice with time, you know. Especially you're a beginner braider. You know, it takes practice with time. And you'll get it, you know. You'll get the speed and you'll get the positioning of the, you know, the partings and everything. And then you'll get familiar with textures of hair. You know, because certain textures of hair, like if she came in with a texture of hair that's, you know, looser curl, more looser than her hair is, then you'll know how to firmly apply the extension into the hair. You know, like I said in the last video, I'll do all races of hair, all you know, all people, you know, mixed, Spanish, white, Asian, you know, I've done it all, you know. And a lot of Spanish people call me, you know, wanting their hair braided, you know. Their hair is just very difficult to do. It's because, you know, their hair is straight, you know, and then it's thick to it, you know. So like I said in the last video, I put water into their hair, like a conditioner water base, and I spray their hair with it, and then I apply their stitching, because what happens is that water makes the hair stick. And I use gel on their hair when I place the extension into their hair. And by me knowing how to properly place an extension, their hair lasts, you know. Their hair will last, you know. So we're braiding along, and you see how I slip tying the hair? Yeah, I did that real fast. But I slip tying the hair, and you see how, you know, I'm around her edge line, and I'm not trying to take these partings super small, even though the braid extension that I'm braiding in is small. I take larger scoops around that edge line, because people love to pull their hair up in ponytails, you know. So I'm mindful of that, you know. You braid along, and like I said again, I'm using So Real, and the live I put throughout her whole hair, because I knew I was you know, doing piece by piece individuals. So I saturated her hair with live before I started to braid her hair and everything and put it up in a high ponytail on top of her head as I'm braiding, you know. And like a lot of times, you know, like people use combs and stuff. I don't. I use clips. I've been using clips for years, you know. I do not use combs because they get in the way. You got to stick them in their head, and they fall on the ground. And I just ain't got time for that. That clip ain't going nowhere. And you put that metal clip right into the hair, it's gonna stay. And I get these clips 12 in a pack for it used to be $1.99, now it's $2.50. And I know by everything going up now, it's probably gonna get to be $3 in a minute. So, you know, I stock up on them. I buy like 12 packs at one time, sometimes 20 packs at one time, and I only use them on the client hair that I'm doing. The 3 clips that I'm using in her hair, they will be thrown in the trash after I'm done with her hair. I do not keep the clips at all. I throw them in the trash. I don't sanitize them. I don't do anything but trash them. Yeah. That's safety for you and safety for the client, Because people will say, oh, I got a fungus in my hair. No, you didn't get it from me. You got it from yourself. Because I use these clips. And they brand new clips. And I throw them away after I'm done doing your hair. So I don't reuse them at all. No cross-contamination over here. And then too, also, before I start my client's hair, I thoroughly wash my hands. I even wash up under my nails really good with the antibacterial soap. Because sometimes, clients, they can have dry scalp, dandruff in their hair. Even sometimes I've seen bumps and I've seen lesions in the hair, whatever. And, I tend to tell my clients, please wash your hair. Don't come in with no dirty hair. I don't braid over dirty hair, but you do have clients that do have, scalp issues, that they wash their hair, but they, do have scalp issues. So, you have to be mindful of that, and also what you use on their hair. Like, say, for instance, if I had a client that have a scalp issue, I do not put oil on their scalp at all, period. I let them do that on their own. I just apply it to the hair, especially the tip ends of the hair, the driest part of the hair, But as far as the oil goes, they can go home and put coconut oil, avocado oil, grapeseed oil, whatever oil they choose to put on their braids. They can do that themselves, If I see that they have a severe, scalp issue, because sometimes people will come in with all kind of stuff, and they want their hair braided, and you be sitting up there like, oh, I really don't want to touch your hair right now, but but to be on the safe side, make sure you do not use the same clips at all. And if you use combs, this is what I would suggest. If you use combs, I would suggest that you have a lot of combs, and after a month or 2, you throw them away and you buy brand new combs all over again. Because you, as a braider, you didn't go to cosmetology school, so you really don't. Some braiders do, because I went to cosmetology school and learned sanitation. But for the most part, some of you beginner braiders, you guys do not know about sanitation. So that's what I would do. I would make sure that you use I think it's called Barbicide on the combs, but I wouldn't even trust that. I would just, after a month's time, throw those combs away. Throw them in the trash and buy all new combs. That keeps you, for people, talking about, oh, you use the dirty comb, that's why I got a scalp infection. I got this. No, they can't say that because you didn't use that comb, you got a brand new comb, You're not using the same combs over your hair, because you'd be surprised what people would, say about you, And that has happened to me before. And I told the client, no, that's not true, because I throw my clips away. After I'm done with your hair, those clips go in the trash, and I do not reuse them. I scoop them up, trash, because I've been in this business so long, so people love to play games. So in order for them not to play that game with you, make sure you take those clips, you throw them in the trash. At least after a month, if you have a set of 12 combs that you use, throw them combs in the trash and go ahead and buy new combs. Yeah, we are inching into her mid crown. Now you see how I'm doing this. I'm still using the scoop partings in between the braids. And like the mid crown area, is the widest part of the hair. So a technique and trick you can do is you can widen the spaces of those braids. But then when you get into the upper mid crown, you can tighten them all in together. And that's one of the tricks of the trade, in doing too, Because I see some braiders, on YouTube, they part every little part so teeny tiny and meticulous. And you want to make your money? There's tricks to the trade. I've learned them all and probably created a few of them. Because you'll be on that client head forever if you do not know what you're doing. Like around the back and the sides and stuff, that middle part of the head, that's the hardest part to get through. So you as a braider, I know exactly how to position those braids to where when I get to the mid top portion of the hair, I can bring those braids together where you see absolutely no scalp. If the hair is thin, then that's a totally different story. They just got thin hair. But for the most part, people with medium to thick hair, you can. That's how you can sometimes get around being in one area forever. Is doing that technique, especially with the piece by piece. Box braids, you don't have to worry about that. But piece by piece, yeah, because it damn near take forever to do piece by piece individuals. And especially I say to bra length. If I did piece by piece individuals with this size braid all the way down to the butt, that'd be probably a good 16 hours of braiding time, and depending on the thickness of the client's hair also, that's a factor too. Because, sometimes I get people hair that, they have the perfect head, perfect density of hair, and you can breeze through it. But then I got some of them clients that got hair that is thick to the extreme, like my daughter's hair. Then, I had one client, her hair texture is wiry. It's hard to bend, it's hard to control. And I think one day I asked her, I was like, do you got Asian in your family? Because their hair is like that. It's very wiry and hard to bend, Yeah, so it takes a long time to do her hair. I don't care what style I do her hair in, it takes a minute because her hair is just so thick and wiry, you know. Let's see, we scooping along, we closing in that, we going to the, almost to the upper mid crown. And like I said, it don't take me that long to, you know, because like I tell you guys, I got technique. You know, back in the day, I was, I mean, way back in the day, like when I opened my salon up in 2007, I did want to do a braiding school, hands-on, because there's one thing in looking at a YouTube tutorial, it's going to show you something. But hands-on, somebody hands-on with you, showing you, that's everything, you know. So I was going to do a school, you know, to teach young women how to braid hair. But like I said, you know, my video, you know, things happen, you know, in life, ups and downs, and things happen for a reason. So, you know, that never went anywhere, you know. But I did, you know, own the salon for a while, you know. And I don't regret my decision opening up the salon at the time. But I think my managing skills, by me still being young, I didn't really know how to manage, you know. Because I'm an introvert type of person. And, you know, I don't like conflict. But, you know, I can say this. When you get older, that will change. You be like, bring it on. Bring on that conflict. But at that time, I wasn't into conflict. You know, I don't like arguing, cussing, you know, people out and all that. You know, all that is not, to me, is not necessary, you know, because you can make your point clear without using profanity, you know. And that was one of the signs in my salon. No profanity in here, you know, but, you know, how people don't follow rules, but well, for the most part, that's what it was about, you know. You know, you guys, I know I'm talking you guys' head off, but you see how I'm inching up to that mid crown, you know. And like I say, you know, the scoop partings interlay, you know, in between the braids, you know, similar to the brick lay technique. But this technique is much, much fuller. It makes the braids much fuller than the box braids or block braid technique. Now you see that parting right there? Now you see how wide that parting is? That's how you get through that mid crown. That's how you get through that mid crown. And then when you get to the upper mid crown, you make the partings much smaller and it's all gonna blend in. That's a good way to get through that mid crown area, is doing the partings in that format. Because if not, if you're making those scoops, you know, super tiny, you'll be there forever. Your client will be sitting forever. And your client will appreciate you for making them partings the way that, you know, you're making them because they don't want to sit there all day. It's not easy sitting down, you know, 6, sometimes 8 hours to get your hair braided either, you know. So I'm mindful of that too. So you see that parting is a little bit, you know, larger as I going up into the mid crown area. Like when I get to the upper, to the top of her hair, then I go smaller and bring everything together. That's why I love this piece by piece technique, because you can do that, you know. You can do that. but it does take practice. You know, Rome wasn't built in one day. You will definitely get that part, you know. Because as you braid, then you'll start, it's so funny, you'll start figuring out stuff. And like, oh, okay, I see this work, this side that work, you know. You'll start figuring out how things go, you know. I'll slit tied again. Now I'm showing you on both sides how the pattern looks on both sides. The hair is full. You see how I see where my next two braids are and how it lays in. It's gonna be beautiful once I'm done. And I'm going up into the crown, mid-crown area of her hair. Now you see how I closed that in the mid-crown? See how the braids are much closer together? It's much tighter together than it was in the mid-crown area. That's the trick of the trade, y'all. Trick of the trade. Because you don't want to be, like I say again, you don't want to be in that mid-crown area forever. Because you will be doing them tiny pieces like that. But yeah, we inching along. And we almost done here. And I'm slit tying the hair off. And you know, as I get closer to the top of her hair is kind of short, you know, in the top portion. So that's making it easy too, you know, to get through that top portion of her hair, you know. And we're braiding along. And another thing, you know, also with, you know, pricing braids like this, you know, a lot of times, you know, people, well, braiders underprice themselves, you know. I don't, because I've been braiding hair for, you know, so many years, until, you know, I price accordingly, you know. So, make sure you're charging, because this is a lot of work. It's repetitive motion. You could get carpal tunnel. Some people even got arthritis. My sister, she has a lesion on her hand that is caused by repetitive motion, because she was braiding hair too, you know, and this lesion, like a knot, had formed on her hand. And she still have that knot. She hasn't yet went to get that knot removed, but the doctor told her it's from repetitive motion. So like with any profession, you know, if you don't take care of yourself, you can end up injured, you know. Like I said, once again, I have double sciatica from standing for years. I wouldn't sit down and braid hair at all. I would stand all day on my feet braiding hair. And I ended up with carpal tunnel not carpal tunnel, excuse me, you guys, but sciatica on both sides of my back, you know. And that sciatica nerve, when it flares up, it is no joke. It takes days sometimes for that nerve to calm down, for you to be able to function again. You know, I take ibuprofen for it and everything. And even sometimes when I sit for long periods of time, you know, my sciatica back issue would flare up, you know. So that's why I know within the next 4 years, I definitely got to retire, because I'm getting older. And, you know, you don't want to keep injuring yourself, you know, doing a certain thing, you know, trying to make money. and you're injuring your body for long term, you know. So yeah, so we down to the wire now. I'm about to knock this out in the park, you know. As they say, I'm about to knock it out in the park. We almost there. Yeah, like I said again, I love this color. It is so pretty. It looks so beautiful on her skin tone and everything. You know, they talk about black women wearing blonde hair and all that, but you know, it looks good. You know, I love it. It looks good on some black women. I don't like the start platinum though. I don't like that, but I do like that 27, that strawberry blonde mix with the platinum. I love that look. I love that color. Because look, when you start getting old, your hair start getting gray. It's white anyway. It's white anyway. Yeah, now we in the mid crown area. Well, not the mid crown. We're almost to her edge line. And about to enclose. Now this is your enclosure part, right in this area. You know, so bring the braids closer together in this area so you won't see scalp. Sometimes that, you know, the client, if their hair is thin, you might end up still seeing scalp. You know, if their hair is thin, that's unavoidable. But for the most part, you know, you might still see scalp, you know, which is okay, you know, because you got braids in your hair, you know, individual, so, you know, you're gonna be scalpy, so. But, you know, like back in the day when we used to braid hair, you know, and not doing it the, what they call that, the feed in braid way, you know, which basically shows your scalp a little bit more. You know, clients just love their braids super close together, super on top of each other, and that was not healthy for the hair. And you know, I still have clients that want that type of braid styles. You know, they don't want their scalp to show at all. But it's not healthy for the hair at all, because you're using smaller partings of hair, and you making them braids a little bit fuller to, you know, enclose that scalp. To me, I like, you know, the scalp to show, because, you know, us black women, been through so many different periods about our hair. You know, at first, like when I first started to braid hair 100 years ago, women wouldn't wear braids. They're like, oh, it's not professional. They think it looks dirty at my job. It's not corporate and this and this and that and that and other. But now you'd be surprised. They're wearing dreadlocks. They're wearing their hair braided. They're wearing, you know, all these natural styles now, you know. And you know, we're not done yet. I got a couple more braids in the very front of her hair that I'm about to tie it off. But yeah, they wouldn't wear their hair braided at all, you know. And a lot of times their husbands would be like, we don't want you to wear them braids, you know. And a lot of times, you know, I used to make the husbands fans of me because I would braid their hair in such a way until they be like, ooh, it compliments her. It looks so nice on it. It's my African queen. Because I'll put a style on them that's very, you know, beautiful and artistic, until they were like, they couldn't help but to like the style, you know. But yeah, but you don't hear that now. They wear everything now. Locks, braids, faux locks, everything. But you know, faux locks back in the day used to be called silky locks. Back in the day, and we used to burn the ends. Back in the day, you know. Now you got the faux locks now, you know. And like I said in my last video, latch hook was the crochet braids. And the goddess braids were the braids that, wrapped on top of your head in a crown, not the large braids. We used to call the larger braids Jamaican braids back in the day, And that's when Janet Jackson had came out with Poetic Justice. And it was this group, I forgot their name, but it was 3 young ladies, and they used to wear braids all the time, especially the bigger braids, all the time. And back in the day, we used to do them braids, call them Jamaican braids back in the day, So like I say, ain't nothing new on the sun, but it's just styles just coming back. All these styles that being done, like one of my younger clients, she's like, "Oh, I want these braids and show me them," And I'm like, "Girl, we was doing that way back in the day. That ain't nothing new." She's like, "Yeah, my mom was saying that's not new." I was like, "Yeah, zigzag braids, girl. We was doing them braids 100 years ago." A lot of the stuff that's coming out it's nothing new. It's already been done back in the day. If I could show you some of my old braid pictures, I might do slides of one day of my old braid pictures and show you what we used to do back in the day. Same stuff, nothing different. The cornrows that the guys are getting nowadays, we used to do those back in the day. Same style, same format and everything. You'll be surprised. Some of my braid pictures, But, some of those styles that I used to do back in the day, the creative ones, I might bring them back out, But I'm only going to do it on YouTube. I'm not going to, braid, people hair like that anymore. I'm not doing that. But I'll do it, a couple of tutorials of styles I used to do back in the day for YouTube, So you guys can see that, it's nothing new under the sun. All this stuff is just a repeat of what's already been. And even, excuse me, to take it even further back, a lot of these styles were African styles. Like, I looked at old pictures of African women wearing their hair braided. And, the styles and everything. I'm like, yeah, that's what we doing now. Like the Fulani braids and all that. That stuff been out for eons, And they used to take horse hair and braid their hair. And they used to use coal and butter on their hair. In some African tribes, they use mud, like the clay mud on their hair to do their hair. And it's so fascinating how how the hair was done back in that time. They used to, even like in slavery time, they used to use like lard and bacon fat and all that to grease their hair. Use wooden combs to comb their hair and everything. And I guess, slavery times, our hair was such a mess to look at, for Caucasian people until, they had us cover our hair, try to make it a shameful thing or whatever. But, that's life, so. But now it's such an artistic art until all races of people want to look like us, just like I said, my phone rings. Spanish, white, Asian, and everything in between. Now we are finally done. Now you see the hair? That hair is very soft to the touch, and we are about to dip the hair. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna braid sections of the hair, but I'm not going to braid into the braids. I'm going to only braid the hair part. You might see a little of the hair, the braided part get into the braids, but when I dip it, you're not going to be able to even tell. It's going to look just like human hair. It's one of two ways you can do this. You can either pre-dip the hair, straighten it fully straight, and then braid it and then dip it, or you can do it the way that I'm doing it, because you want the fullness in the hair. So I just go ahead and just dip it as it is, because like I say, the Rastafri Afrelle, when you dip that hair, it straightens out, and it's beautiful when it's dipped. Now, I can't speak about all the other hair, I can't speak about all of that, because this is the only brand I use in between, doing certain styles. Like I said, when I do the twist braids, I use this brand. When I do the goddess braids, I use the purple and yellow pack of braiding hair, So I've always used Rastafri. Now Rastafri do have a 3-in-1 pack. Also, I've used that before, but it's cheap hair. I just never like the texture. Like I said, my clients, they bring me that stuff, I braid it in their hair. But I notice when I dip that hair, it does not dip straight at all. The Rastafri, the Afrelle brand, this hair dips straight. You don't have to tug with it. You don't have to constantly keep pulling it with a towel. You don't have to do none of that. It straightens itself out as soon as you dip it, I left one of the braids out on the side, so I'm going to have to take that down on the side and re-braid that, I just noticed that, I had to take it down and re-braid it all over again. And like I say, as soon as that, you do a soft boil, not a hard boil when you boil your water, because you do not want to singe the hair, because the hair does singe. If that water is too hot, it will singe the hair. So I always do a soft boil on the hair, because like I say, this hair is very effortless. It when you dip it, it dips straight. Like I say, you don't have to constantly keep pulling it with the ends with a towel or anything to straighten the hair out. You do it once, dip it again, and that hair will just lay straight. That's why I love this hair. And I don't really know if they sell this in every state, but definitely where I live at, this is the hair that I use. I don't know if they sell, the Rastafri everywhere. I don't know, but I know this is one of the best braiding hairs that I ever braid with. Like back in the day, we used to braid with the black and gold. Used to be the top notch hair. They still sell black and gold, but I don't use it. I love the Rastafri brand. Hint, Rastafri need to sponsor this video. And if you guys are liking this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. This is my second video, and I'm gonna really enjoy doing this, bringing you guys good content and instructional videos, and leave a comment in the description area and let me know what it is. If you're a beginner braider, advanced braider, or DIY braider, you do your own hair, just leave any questions that you have, because pretty soon, once my subscribership goes up, I'm going to start doing lives. So you can ask me anything you want to ask me, and to the best of my ability, I will answer your questions, each and every one of them, So this is her hair, and I'm about to dip her hair. I'm going to take that little braid down on the side and redo it. So I'm about to dip her hair now. And the water is pretty hot. You see that steam? It is hot. You see that steam is very, very hot. very hot. And you see how I'm running the towel down to the ends of the hair. And you can kind of see that end. I mean, it straightens it out. Yes, it does. And I'm going to dip it twice. Because it doesn't take, like I say, this brand of hair, it doesn't take all that to dip this hair at all. And I'm also going to show you guys other ways you can do this hair, because you can even make this hair look like weaved hair, you know. You can do styles. Don't mind me, you guys. My hands are used to heat. You know, my hands are tempered. So, you know, I could pick up that hair while it's hot, because I've been doing this thing for years. So I'm very much used to, you know, dealing with the hot hair. The water is hot. So please be careful also with your client. Me dipping hair for years, I know exactly what I'm doing. You know, I know exactly what I'm doing. Now, her hair used to be way shorter than what it is. It was a little harder to dip, but it's a little bit easier now that her hair has length to it now. But when her hair was short, boy, I would have that towel wrapped around her whole head, and I'll put a towel up under the braid, and then I'll dip the braid, and then I'll pull the braid and all that. But now I don't even have to do that, because her hair has grown so much. Because when I first started her hair, you know, her hair was very, very, very short, you know, and now it done grew out. Because when she came to me, I was like, girl, your hair done grew so much. And she was like, yeah, it done grew a lot, you know. It done grew a lot. So make sure your client is definitely, I use 3 towels. You know, she's not holding a towel to her, but normally I tell them to hold that towel tight to their chest. And I'll dip their hair. Yeah, sometimes they can feel the heat though, but burn, no, I'm not gonna burn you at all. Not at all. Because even, you know, like that braid at the top that's placed is sitting right on top of the other braid, so it does not touch her scalp at all. So this is where the magic happens. I'm gonna unbraid these braids. And you know how you do individuals, and you braid them long, and then you might braid the ends to make them wavy at the ends. That's just the same technique. But what I do is I braid it tight to get that wave look in it. Like a deep wave look into the hair. And it look like a deep wave human hair once I'm done. See how pretty that is? That's so pretty. And I'm glad I used this hair, because if you use the color, because if you use a darker color, it probably wouldn't show up excuse me, on camera as well as it does, on camera. So you can see the waves, the define of the waves. Or I should say the waves are more defining. Looks so pretty. And you do not have to get no human hair at all. Just tell your clients, look, I can do it this way. Especially, that their hair is short. Long, it's just going to look like regular individuals. If their hair is longer than her hair is, it's just going to look like regular individuals. But her hair being, the length that it is, it looks like she has human hair braids. Because that's what she tell me. She's like, when I'm out in the streets, women stop me. And he's like, oh, your human hair is so pretty. Where you bought it from? She's like, this is not no human hair. This is regular braiding hair. But she was telling me that when she comes to get her hair done by me, in Kaale, that she gets her hair in Kaale, So, she buy her hair in Kaale. Because where she stay at in Las Vegas, they don't have the hair, the Rastafri out there, And, I've been to the beauty supplies, and one time I walked into the beauty supply because I thought it was going to be cheaper than California's beauty supplies. I walked in there and walked right out of there. I was like, oh my God, their stuff is more expensive than California beauty supplies. And I was like, wow. I was like, well, you know what? I'm always looking for a bargain because, like I said in the last video, these hair products are expensive. Like, I was online looking at the So Real because, a lot of times, I like to order my beauty supplies online, and they was talking about $23 for an 8-ounce jar. I use the 12-ounce jar, and I spend about like $12 for the 12-ounce jar. Well, they was talking about $23 for an 8-ounce jar of So Real edge control. I was like, ugh. So you know what I did? I ended up buying my So Real and my Live. I'm overstocked now on it, because I know that with the supply chain situation going on, in a minute we might not be able to get hair. So, stock up on hair, stock up on your clips, stock up on your combs, stock up on all your beauty supplies, even buy hair. I have a storage where I keep a lot of stuff, and I even said, I'm gonna start buying extra packs of hair just to keep, because I keep packs of hair. Sometimes my clients leave hair, so I don't sell it or anything. I'll just use it. If a client run out of a pack of hair, I'll go in there and get it and use it or whatever, like that. But start stocking up on stuff, because we don't know how this situation is going to pan out. And if you want to, remain in business, make sure you have some hair. Or we got to create other styles, because, we can do a lot of natural styles without using hair also. So just being creative, and being a braider, Once again, I thank you all for watching this video. I know this video was long and everything, but I wanted to definitely, show you this technique and how to do this or whatever. And, hopefully you try it out on your clients, especially clients with the shorter hair, make them look like they have human hair in their head. Because like I said, that human hair is expensive, Like back in the day, we used to get that human hair, really nice quality human hair, for $45 a pack. And then, at that time, that was expensive. But compared to today, you paying $200 plus for one pack, quarter pack of human hair, And I used to have these clients, I used to work in corporate, and they used to pay like $6.50 for their bulk hair for braiding their human hair. And they used to buy it by the quarter pound, from I believe they got it from the Hair Factory, in which the Hair Factory still sells bulk human hair. And they bulk human hair, it starts, I think, at $169 at the least, But I tried theirs one time and I really didn't like it. I really like his and hers, because you get a lot of hair with their, bulk hair, and then they bulk hair has a grip to it. It's hard to explain, but it's not super slippery where it slides out of your hand or anything. So I really love their human hair. I really love it because we could take that human hair down and reuse it. I've taken human hair down, reused it like 2-3 times before it started getting ratty, but yeah, but a lot of people, you paying, that, money, because I charge for human hair. Are you paying money for your hair? And it's like, Well, right here I'm using Mousse. I got Mousse all on her neck. I'm using Mousse throughout her hair. And then what that does is that, that seals in the curls. And if you want this style to last for a long time, my suggestion is at night when you put your bonnet cap on, braid the hair up. You don't have to braid it in smaller plaits like I've done, but tell your clients to braid it in big patches. She can even split it down the center and braid it, into 2 plaits, and put your bonnet cap on and your scarf on, especially for the top. I tell them to put the bonnet cap, put the scarf on and the bonnet cap. And what I'm spraying is the IsoPlus oil sheen spray, just to give it a little shine, just a little shine. And what I'm about to do now is kind of cut, and I hate that I'm out of frame where I can show you where I'm cutting some of the straight ends that, ended up being straight. I'm kind of trimming those off just a little bit, not too much, because those straight ends kind of lock that curl in. It kind of because the one thing I like about Rastafri, especially the one in the yellow and green, that when you dip it, it seals. That's why I love using it for twist braids, because when you dip it, it seals. The twists don't unravel, So like at night, I tell my clients, it's like if you're wearing twist braids, kind of bind them together and put them into your bonnet hat. Because that's, they will try to crawl. But when I use this brand of hair, none of them twists stay, So I got her all spiffy and human hair like with synthetic hair or cankalon hair. And I'm drying the excess water because I want it to naturally dry so it'll lock all of that in. And it's beautiful. You see that, you guys? How pretty that is? That color is just everything. And she's such a beautiful woman too. She's very, very pretty and very photogenic. So that's why I chose to use her as the model for this series, So look at that. Is that beautiful or what? So I'm about to end this video. Any questions, any comments, leave them down in the description box. And I will answer your questions or give you a heart like for your comment. And I thank you guys so much for watching this 1-24-minute video. Well, hopefully this helped you out and everything. And once again, comment and subscribe to the channel. And I'm looking forward to bringing you more content, because like I said, I do a lot of heads. So, I'm going to get these clients in there. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.